Okay, so here we have a really improvised video that is about an exam that I am going to have tomorrow. Unit 3. The interdisciplinary approach for the analysis of contemporary social reality. Subject 1. The main components of the Lenin thought. 2. The three classical philosophers of sociology. 3. The roots of Marxism. No. Emile Durkheim. He was born on 1858 to 1917. He was French. He was a pedagogue teacher and an anthropologist. His ideas was types of social solidarity, mechanical solidarity, sameness, rural communities, families, relationships, and face-to-face communication, organic solidarity, industrial society, vision of labor in companies. His structure concept was functionalism, that individuals are connected to another because they need each other. Notable works in 1893, the division of labor society. In 1895, the rules of sociological method. 1897, suicide. Cohesion between individuals in society that ensures social order and stability. Communism versus capitalism. Communism, economic and political ideology in which all property is owned by the community and each person continues and receives according to their ability and needs. Capitalism, economic and political ideology where a country, trade, and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. Communism, goods are state-owned and people distributed evenly among the people. Capitalism, goods are privately owned and not distributed evenly, also creating class distinctions. Communism has a totalitarianism form of government. Capitalism has a democratic form of government. Communism has an egalitarian society. Capitalism has an elitist society. Communism, profit of trade and products are shared by the people or the whole community. Capitalism, profit of trade and products belong to specific entities. Communism, market is state-owned and state-controlled. Capitalism, market is privately owned, thus free and competitive. Communism, since the market is state-owned, wealth is distributed according to community needs and abilities. Capitalism, since the market is privately owned, everyone should work on his own to acquire wealth. Random answers about Durkheim. He is the father of society. The social facts that affect people are population size, religion, economy, technology, norms of culture, and values. The thing that exists inside the heads of the individuals when they interact is the law and morality. Solidarity is the cohesion of society that holds them together. Durkheim proposed two ways of call them, mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. The point of mechanical solidarity is that the most people in their societies are bound together by similitudes. Another way to call them is collective consequence. Another way to describe the organic society is interdependence or human body. With the quote, very general and indeterminate ways of thought and sentimental which leaves from open for individual differences, refers that people can still have different opinions or express their beliefs in different ways, even while stating a common cultural framework. The key differences between mechanical and organic solidarity is that the division of labor in the pre-modern society, everyone does the same stuff, and in modern society, has these highly specialized roles. His opinion about dynamic density was that as dynamic density, more competition increases, finding more efficient ways of doing things to develop their jobs arise and gradually become a foundation of organic solidarity. Now with Max Weber, Weber the real pronunciation. He was a German sociologist, political economist, catedrátical in law, and a philosopher. His ideas were that first, he dealt bureaucracy type, individual meaning attached to the world around them, emphasized understanding rather than activism. The roles of individuals showed how there were bureaucratic the elements of every part of society. Distinction. Study human beings, not objects. Focus on interpreting the human behavior. Identify clear concepts. 3. Human behavior was the same as social action. Social action could be rational sense or affective sense. His notable works were in 1904 to 1905, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, to 1922, Economy and Society. This was unfinished. Social action theories. First, rational, work with a purpose in common. Earnings. 2. Rational according of values. Altruism, motivate action by a belief. 3. Irrational, affective action. Feelings. 4. Traditional action, ways of living, customs, manners. He described four types of social action: traditional, affective, value-rational, and means-rational. He was born in 1864. Social action was the human behavior. It is relative to emotion. We act has a meaning or has an impact. Traditional action represented thought traditions, habits, customs of generations. In his book, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, he attempted to explain the modern capitalist. He was known for creating the social action theories. The theories that he developed were value rational, traditional, affecting, means and rational. Affective action is related when we have a long time of not seeing a relative, some spontaneous emotional act. His contribution to the social sciences was the Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism. We act in rational act because we should act according by our values. Rational act refers to the steps we follow when we plan something to help someone. With disenchantment of the world, he referred to that he lost the faith in society because the changes and the devolution of itself. Karl Marx. He was born in 1818 to 1883. He was an historian, economist, and philosopher. He was German. He was a friend of Friedrich Hegel and was founder of communism. His ideas was that materialism theory not only interpreted the world but also transformed it. Social organization conditions means that work means money but means home but means unhappiness. Historical materialism, economic superstructure, relations of production, forces of production, three levels of cultural manner. Notable works. In 1848, the Communism Manifesto wrote with her friend Friedrich Hegel. In 1867 to 1910, The Capital. His study of society through time developed a material economic base. Bourgeois were superior to proletarian, and conflict was the natural basis demand. According to Marx, the history of our society up to his time is the history of the division of labor. Characteristic of the modern bourgeoisie society is the exploitative class, relationships are no longer hidden. A big influence for Karl Marx was his friend Friedrich Hegel. Marx was known for founding the communism. He created the communism and he was born in Germany in 1818. The following goals of the immediate aim of communism was the unification of the proletariat into the ruling class. The Communism Manifesto was published during the century 19. It was written with his friend Friedrich Hegel. The more the sophisticated the tools, the greater is the division of labor. Marx considered himself a stateless person, but in the city that he ended settling in, it was London. Marx argued that needs to happen to transform a society culture is the economic foundation to have to be changed. His greatest work was the Communism Manifesto. His main interests include economic superstructure, relations of powers, and forces of production. He labeled the upper class bourgeois, and he was a historian, economist, and philosopher. Here's some quotes of the philosophers. Durkheim likened society to that of a living organism. Each organ plays a necessary role, keeping the being alive. Said that crime and deviance are necessary in a society, believed that social integration was a key factor in social life, wrote suicide as looking as increased suicides in capitalist nations. Society is greater than the sum of its parts, wrote the book The Division of Labor Society in 1893. Once a society achieves organic solidarity, it has finished its development. Max Weber, his analysis of modern society centered on the concept of rationalization, interested more in how individuals experienced social divisions than the divisions in themselves, came up with the term iron cage, in which the individual is trapped by institutions and bureaucracy, emphasizes the viewpoint of the individual and how that individual relates to society. The symbolic interactionism theory is based in early ideas. Karl Marx, he was known as the father of communism. He developed the concept of false consciousness and that society must replace that is a class consciousness. Wrote Communism Manifesto, referred to capitalism as the dictatorship of the bourgeois. Under capitalism, marriage were only for monetary reasons, not love, so in conflict in society as the primary means of change. Society's constructions are predicated upon the idea of base and superstructure. Describe modern society in terms of alienation. The major contribution to our society of Durkheim is to help define and establish the field of society as an academic discipline. For him, society is the science of all institutions, and he wanted to discover the structure of social facts. Some of the concept keys. He contributed to analyze education in society are social facts, collective action, moral education, and division of social labor. Marx looked for a change in capitalism society, and he was proposing a communism where social classes don't exist. Weber had acute concerns about social order. Therefore, society is a science that intests fundamentalist understand of the social action.